Hi, my name is Ryan Sloan, and I want to welcome you today to our inaugural video on our new Gearcage channel. On this channel, we'll be talking about all things audio, from recording to live sound, from instruments to effects pedals, and all things in between. So please do hit the subscribe button if that interests you, and we'll take it from there. But we thought we would start the channel off by talking about audio interfaces in a very brief 101 video. We'll be covering other topics here in future videos, especially kind of diving into audio interfaces at a deeper level. But let's just talk about, at the very surface level, what is an audio interface? And if you can take away nothing from this video, just know that an audio interface is a way to get audio into and out of your computer, typically in a higher quality manner than the built-in sound card on your computer. And speaking of sound card, a lot of people will call audio interfaces sound cards, and that's not actually wrong. An audio interface is basically an external sound card. So back when people used to put PCI cards into their PCs to install new hardware, you could actually buy a sound card that you would put in the machine and upgrade your sound quality. Now, those aren't as common today as they used to be, with the advent of laptops and tablets and phones and people recording on those devices. But yes, at its surface level, an audio interface is an external high quality sound card used to get audio into and out of your computer. Now, how do you choose to buy the right one? Well, there are a few things to keep in mind when you're looking at audio interfaces. First, the number of channels that you're using on your system. Are you recording yourself? Or are you recording a whole band? Or are you recording a symphonic orchestra? Knowing that ahead of time and planning appropriately will help save you money and maximize your potential recording quality down the line. So for me in my home studio here, I typically am just using this Universal Audio Apollo. It has just a few inputs and outputs here, but it does help me get high quality audio in and out of the computer. Now, there are lots and lots of different audio interfaces on the market, like I mentioned here, and you might ask yourself, okay, so I know that I need just a few channels to get into the computer. Well, why is it that a box like this is $120 and a box like this can be $900? The answer to that lies in the feature sets of the boxes and also the circuit path and signal quality on the boxes. It's a very important thing to keep in mind as you're looking at audio interfaces. So the Focusrite Scarlett series is fantastic, and it's a great place to get started, especially if you're on a budget when designing your home studio setup. You can actually get great, fantastic recordings with a box just like this. But if you do want more advanced features and some other bells and whistles, you might look at something like an Apollo. So you might say, why is there such a huge price difference between these boxes? The short answer is design quality. The chassis here is more robust, it's tougher, it's stronger. The build quality in general is better. Also, the signal processing capabilities are greater. So the universal audio interfaces have very good preamps built in. So the signal quality going in that you're able to capture is better because of that. Also, the output quality is better. So that's another key consideration as you're monitoring back and making your audio decisions. You'll also see nice features like headphone amplifiers and instrument DIs on this particular box. And again, all these things are not created equally. Let's say you have the choice between a 30-cent part and a $4 part. A box like the Apollo is probably going to use that $4 part, and a box that costs maybe $100 or $150 is going to use that lower quality component. It's not to say that it's not a great piece, in fact won't give you great results, it's just this one might be the better result. So the third main consideration when it comes to audio interfaces, because we've talked about planning your channel count and buying with audio quality in mind, the third thing to think about is format on the audio interface. The Apollo here uses Thunderbolt as its main connection method into your Mac or PC, and the Focusrite behind me uses USB. Both of those are fine methods to get into and out of your computer. There was a time when maybe USB wasn't as good as, let's say, FireWire, which is an older component here for recording. But these days, basically any audio interface is going to give you great results on the recording front. If you do have a Thunderbolt port on your computer, I do suggest getting a Thunderbolt interface. It just makes things more streamlined for you and can have lower latency and the ability to connect more devices down the chain. So that's definitely a consideration. So the takeaway on this video, modern audio interfaces have come a long way. The good news is whether you're recording music or podcasts or voiceovers, you can actually get a great result with a box like that Focusrite Scarlett I showed you. But if you do have the budget, it's definitely worth looking into a box like the Apollo. In fact, the Apollo, one thing I didn't mention, has built-in DSP, and they have their own plugins that you can record with. And this is a huge, huge tool because you can actually record with plugins in real time in virtually no latency. Now we'll talk about latency and DSP and all of that a little bit later, so stay tuned for that video. But if you do have any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll be happy to address them. And again, we welcome you to our channel. Please do subscribe. Thanks.